save for the prince and she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
We need to respect our past.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
Disney's Snow White is in absolute freefall, and Gal Gadot's alleged attack on Disney after a shocking deleted scene with Rachel Zegler has sent the entire project spiraling into chaos. With fans turning against the film and rumors of an explosive clash behind the scenes, is this the biggest disaster in Disney's history? Disney's woke agenda is destroying its legacy. It's no secret that Disney has undergone significant changes in recent years. But when did it all begin to crumble? For many fans, the company's once beloved reputation took a nosedive when what some call the woke agenda infiltrated the creative heart of Disney. What does that mean exactly? It's about more than just modernizing stories. Critics argue that Disney's attempt to be more inclusive has resulted in a series of misguided decisions that have alienated their core audience. Take, for example, the live-action Snow White movie, which was once a beloved animated classic. The decision to cast Rachel Zegler, known for her outspoken views, as the titular character instantly ignited controversy. Zegler's vocal support for progressive causes has made her a lightning rod for criticism. Many feel that her involvement has more to do with her activism than her acting abilities. And this is where Disney's troubles really started to snowball. Now let's talk about Bob Iger, a name synonymous with Disney's global empire. Iger left his position as CEO only to return when things took a sharp downward spiral under Bob Chapek's leadership. Chapek's management of Disney, particularly its streaming service Disney+, had been fraught with issues, but the release of the Snow White teaser was the straw that broke the camel's back. The backlash was immediate, with dislikes pouring in across social media platforms, especially on YouTube. Fans were furious. What was meant to be a magical reimagining had turned into an online disaster. The teaser received more dislikes than anyone at Disney could have anticipated. Comments flooded in, calling the project an embarrassment to the original story. One specific comment that gained traction read, "When the evil queen is more likable than Snow White, you know something's wrong." That struck a nerve. The teaser's overwhelming rejection marked a moment where it became clear that Disney's attempt to modernize its stories wasn't resonating with audiences. But why did this happen? Was it purely about casting, or did it go deeper? It turns out the casting of Rachel Zegler as Snow White wasn't the only controversial move. Gal Gadot was cast as the evil queen, a move that fans were equally puzzled by. Some even argued that their roles should have been reversed. It wasn't long before these casting choices became symbolic of a deeper rift within Disney itself. Zegler's outspoken nature and Gadot's displeasure with the production added fuel to the fire, and Disney was caught in the middle, trying to manage the fallout. The issue isn't just about the actors, though. According to some alleged insider reports, there's been chaos behind the scenes for years. It is said that the decision-making process around casting, scripts, and direction has been overtaken by a small group pushing their own agenda. Allegedly, many longtime Disney employees have expressed frustration over what they see as the company abandoning its roots. These rumors paint a picture of a company at war with itself, struggling to find a balance between appeasing modern audiences and staying true to its legacy. And then there's the storytelling itself. Modern Disney films have been accused of rewriting the past, not just by altering beloved characters, but by fundamentally changing the messages behind the stories. In the case of Snow White, fans are outraged at the shift in focus. The original Snow White was a tale of kindness, innocence, and resilience. Now, with Zegler's interpretation, it's seen as more of a statement on empowerment, something that many fans feel doesn't align with the essence of the story. Is Disney truly abandoning the heart of its classic tales to appease a specific audience? Or are they simply out of touch with what fans want? And if this woke agenda has taken such a stronghold, how will the company ever get back to the core values that made them a household name in the first place? It's hard to imagine Disney recovering from the damage done to its reputation with this film. With 2025 just around the corner and the release of Snow White looming, Disney finds itself in a precarious position. How do they market a film when both the cast and the fans seem to have turned against it? Reports of tension between Zegler and Gadot are swirling, with both allegedly refusing to participate in joint promotional events. There's even speculation that Disney is scrambling to keep this movie afloat, delaying certain press releases and reconsidering its marketing strategies. But the bigger question remains, can Disney ever regain the trust of its original fan base after so many questionable decisions? Or is the damage already done? Bob Iger's comeback is a total mess. Bob Iger's legacy at Disney was once untouchable. He had built a reputation as one of the most successful CEOs in the company's history, having overseen the acquisitions of Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm. Under his leadership, Disney became a media powerhouse, and for a while everything seemed golden. But when he stepped down and Bob Chapek took over, things began to unravel. Chapek's leadership faced a barrage of challenges, from the pandemic's impact on theme parks to the underwhelming performance of Disney+, and that's when the cracks started to show. Iger returned to the CEO seat in what was supposed to be a triumphant comeback. Many expected him to swoop in, fix everything, and bring back the magic. But the reality has been far more complicated, and some are starting to wonder if he's capable of righting the ship at all. One of Iger's first major tasks was dealing with the fallout from Snow White. The movie's teaser release was already a disaster, and Iger's return didn't smooth things over as many had hoped. Behind the scenes, there were rumors that Iger himself wasn't entirely on board with some of the creative decisions made for the film. Allegedly, there were internal disagreements about casting, and Iger's hands were tied by commitments made before his return. But by the time he was back in control, the project was too far along to change course. Iger's attempts to steady the Disney ship have been met with mixed results. It's reported that internally there's been tension between Iger and other top executives, particularly over Disney's strategy for live-action remakes. These films, which were once seen as surefire hits, have begun to lose their luster. Snow White is just the latest in a string of poorly received remakes that have left fans wondering whether Disney is capable of original storytelling anymore. And it's not just Snow White. Other live-action projects like The Little Mermaid and Pinocchio also faced backlash, both for creative choices and what many perceive as an over-reliance on nostalgia. There are whispers within the industry that Iger may have lost touch with what audiences actually want from Disney films. He's been criticized for doubling down on live-action remakes despite declining box office returns, and some say that his refusal to pivot has led to a sense of stagnation within the company. The feeling is that Disney keeps churning out content, hoping something will stick, but there's no longer a clear vision guiding the brand. Adding to the chaos is Disney's streaming strategy. When Iger returned, Disney Plus was supposed to be the crown jewel of their media empire, but it hasn't exactly lived up to expectations. Subscriber growth has slowed, and the platform has been struggling to produce enough compelling original content to keep users engaged. Snow White was supposed to be a big win for Disney Plus, but with the backlash surrounding the movie, even that seems unlikely to provide the boost Disney desperately needs. Then there's the issue of Iger's leadership style. While he's known for being a hands-on CEO, some within the company are starting to question whether that's actually what Disney needs right now. Allegedly, there have been internal meetings where executives expressed frustration over Iger's unwillingness to delegate, leading to bottlenecks in decision-making. In a company as large as Disney, that's a recipe for disaster. And when a project like Snow White is already on fire, delays in leadership can only make things worse. But is the problem with Iger's leadership? Or is it the weight of trying to manage a company that's become too big and too reliant on remakes and franchise extensions? As Iger continues to try to navigate this rocky terrain, Disney's stock price has been floundering, and investor confidence is beginning to wane. For a company that once dominated the entertainment world, this is a shocking turn of events. Snow White trailer is a complete disaster. When Disney first announced a live-action Snow White, expectations were sky high. After all, this was the film that started it all, the crown jewel of Disney's animated legacy. But as soon as the first teaser trailer dropped, it became clear that this was not the Snow White fans were expecting. The reaction was swift and brutal. Within hours of its release, the trailer was flooded with dislikes on YouTube, and the comments section quickly became a hotbed of outrage. Fans took issue with nearly every aspect of the trailer. The most glaring complaint? Rachel Zegler's portrayal of Snow White. While Zegler had proven her acting chops in West Side Story, Her outspoken comments and the modernized direction of the film alienated a large portion of Disney's core audience. She had been vocal about wanting to make Snow White a more empowered character, which didn't sit well with fans who wanted a faithful adaptation of the original. Some viewers felt that her interpretation betrayed the spirit of the original, and many openly questioned whether she was cast for her political views rather than her ability to embody the role. On top of that, there's the controversial inclusion of Gal Gadot as the evil queen. Many fans expressed their belief that Gadot, who is known for her role as Wonder Woman, was miscast. Some even joked that she should have been cast as Snow White, given her physical resemblance to the character, while Zeglar should have taken on the role of the evil queen. These comments, though humorous, reflected a deeper issue. Fans simply weren't buying into Disney's casting choices. Behind the scenes, things weren't much better. According to alleged reports, Zeglar and Gadot did not get along during filming, and their tensions have only worsened during the promotional phase. It's rumored that Zeglar's strong opinions and outspoken nature clashed with Gadot's more reserved approach, creating a rift between the two actresses. Some insiders claim that this tension has led to major problems with marketing the film, with both actresses allegedly refusing to appear in joint interviews or promotional events. Disney, for its part, is reportedly scrambling to figure out how to promote a film when its two stars aren't even on speaking terms. The controversies surrounding the film don't stop there. The decision to modernize the story has also been met with significant backlash. In particular, fans have criticized the film for what they see as unnecessary changes to the original plot. Gone is the story of a kind-hearted princess who relies on her inner strength to overcome adversity. In its place is a more contemporary version of Snow White, one that some fans feel is too focused on making political statements rather than telling a timeless story. Another major point of contention is the decision to remove the iconic dwarfs from the film. In the original, the 7 dwarfs are central characters, each with their own personality and charm. But in this version, Disney has reportedly opted to remove them in favor of magical creatures. This change has been met with widespread confusion and frustration, with many fans questioning why Disney would make such a drastic departure from one of the most beloved aspects of the original film. Even industry insiders are reportedly concerned about the direction of the film. It's been alleged that test screenings have not gone well, particularly with female audiences who were reportedly unimpressed with Zegler's performance. Some have even gone as far as to say that her portrayal of Snow White lacked the warmth and charm that the character is known for, leaving audiences cold. These early reactions have only fueled the fire, leading many to speculate that the film is headed for a box office disaster. As the release date approaches, Disney is facing a mountain of challenges. The marketing campaign has been thrown into disarray, the stars of the film are reportedly at odds, and the fan base is more divided than ever. With so much controversy swirling around the film, it's hard to see how Snow White will recover from this disastrous start. Is this the beginning of the end for Disney's live-action remakes? Or can they still salvage what's left of Snow White? Gal Gadot versus Rachel Zegler sparks chaos. Behind the glossy promotional campaigns and red carpet smiles, the tension between Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler has been a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. The tension first surfaced during the filming of Snow White, where it's alleged that creative differences and clashing personalities sparked conflict. Zegler, known for her strong, progressive stances and assertive nature, reportedly didn't mesh well with Gadot, who tends to approach her roles more professionally and conservatively. These tensions reportedly spilled over into the post-production and marketing phases of the film. Alleged insiders claim that the two actresses are barely on speaking terms and have refused to participate in any joint interviews or promotional events. Disney is allegedly panicking behind the scenes, struggling to market the film effectively when its two stars won't even appear together. While these are claims made by some sources, the lack of public appearances by both actresses together has only added fuel to the rumors. Gal Gadot, who had previously been riding high from her role as Wonder Woman, saw Snow White as an opportunity to expand her repertoire. Playing the evil queen was supposed to mark a significant shift from her hero image. However, things have not gone according to plan. According to some reports, Gadot has expressed dissatisfaction with the production, particularly with how Disney has handled the marketing of the film and its controversial direction. It's alleged that Gadot had certain expectations about creative control over her role and the film's marketing, which were not met. This left Gadot feeling sidelined, especially in comparison to Zegler, whose outspoken public persona has garnered more attention. But Gadot's frustrations weren't just with Disney. It's rumored that her relationship with Zegler deteriorated quickly. While Zegler was praised for her activism, it's been suggested that her strong-willed approach on set didn't sit well with Gadot. Zegler's insistence on modernizing Snow White's character, as well as her vocal opinions on the film's direction, allegedly created a divide between the two actresses. Some insiders claim that Gadot, who is known for her professionalism, felt undermined by Zegler's more aggressive stance on the film's tone and messaging. In the months following the completion of filming, rumors have continued to swirl. It's alleged that Disney tried to mediate between the two stars, hoping to bring them together for the sake of the film's promotion. However, those efforts have reportedly been unsuccessful. The tension became so palpable that some promotional events have been scrapped entirely. For Disney, this is a major issue. Without its two lead actresses promoting the film together, the studio is left scrambling to generate buzz in other ways. The discord between Gadot and Zegler only mirrors the wider problems Disney has faced with this film. The casting decisions and creative changes have already alienated a large portion of the fan base, and now the internal conflicts between the film's stars are threatening to sink the project altogether. The question on everyone's mind is whether Disney can salvage this film in time for its 2025 release, or if the behind-the-scenes drama will overshadow the movie entirely. Can Disney afford to move forward with a film that seems doomed from the start, or will these internal conflicts force the company to rethink its entire approach? Disney's live-action remakes are ruining classics. For many fans, Disney's recent string of live-action remakes has been nothing short of a disaster. While some remakes have been mildly successful, the overall trend has left a bad taste in the mouths of audiences worldwide. Snow White is just the latest in a series of films that fans feel have failed to capture the magic of their animated counterparts. But what is it about these remakes that have audiences so upset? One of the most common complaints is that Disney is fundamentally changing the stories and characters that fans grew up loving. In many cases, the remakes aren't just retellings of the original films, they're reimagined versions with new political and social messaging that some fans feel is being forced into the narrative. For example, The Little Mermaid remake faced significant backlash for changing key aspects of the story, with some fans arguing that the new version lacked the heart and spirit of the original. Snow White is facing similar criticism, with fans accusing Disney of using the film as a vehicle for modern agendas, rather than staying true to the timeless tale. Then there's the issue of nostalgia. The animated films that Disney is remaking are classics for a reason. They've stood the test of time, and many fans feel that there's simply no need to reimagine them for a modern audience. The argument goes that by remaking these films, Disney is diluting the legacy of its original animated masterpieces. Instead of creating new original stories, the company seems content to recycle its past successes, only to fall short of the mark. Another major point of contention is the quality of the remakes themselves. While the original animated films are known for their stunning artistry and captivating storytelling, many of the live-action remakes have been criticized for feeling flat and uninspired. The visual effects often fail to live up to the high standards set by their animated predecessors, and the performances are sometimes seen as lacking the charm and depth that made the original characters so beloved. In the case of Snow White, the decision to eliminate the iconic dwarfs in favor of magical creatures is one such example of a creative choice that has left fans scratching their heads. The box office returns for these remakes have also been a mixed bag. While films like The Lion King and Beauty and the Beast performed well financially, others like Dumbo and Mulan struggled to gain traction. The inconsistent performance of these films has raised questions about whether Disney's strategy of banking on nostalgia is sustainable in the long run. With each new remake, the stakes seem to get higher and the backlash more severe. One of the most glaring issues with Disney's live-action remakes is the lack of new ideas. In an era where audiences are craving fresh, original content, Disney's reliance on remakes comes across as a company stuck in the past, desperately trying to milk its old properties for every last drop of profit. Critics have pointed out that Disney, once a pioneer of innovation and creativity, has become risk-averse, opting to play it safe with familiar stories rather than take a chance on something new. But can Disney continue down this path without further damaging its reputation? Fans are starting to push back, and it's becoming clear that simply repackaging old stories isn't enough to keep audiences engaged. With Snow White already facing an uphill battle, it's hard to see how Disney's strategy will evolve in the future. What do you think? Can Disney recover from the mess Snow White is creating? Or is this the beginning of the end for their live-action remakes? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you never miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching.